Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Inevitable, and this is the Calm Face Violent Ambition podcast, where I'll be speaking about literally anything that sparks my interest and sharing my perspective on it. Thank you once again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the video. So today we're going to speak about consumer culture versus sacred care. Essentially, how modern society exploits the body and how we reclaim it as sacred. This subject blends spirituality, psychology, and cultural critique, and it challenges us to ask, are we treating the body as a commodity or as a temple? Okay? So you can just let me know what your thoughts are on that exact question I just asked. Okay? So in consumer culture, the body is often reduced to an object, something to be sold, modified, or exploited for profit. Advertisements, industries, and trends push us to see our bodies as products rather than sacred vessels. Sacred care, on the other hand, invites us to honor the body as divine, as a temple of spirit and life. This tension between exploitation and reverence is at the heart of our modern struggle. To reclaim sacred care, we must challenge the systems that commodify us and choose practices that honor our humanity. Okay? So, like I do in all my videos, I'm going to be dividing this insight into 4 different sections, and then at the end of the section I'll be providing you with some practical steps as to how we can go ahead and implement this insight into our daily lives and our daily doings. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive into section 1: the exploitation of the body. Consumer culture thrives on turning the body into a marketplace. From beauty standards to fitness industries, the body is constantly sold back to us as something to fix, upgrade, or perfect. This exploitation creates cycles of insecurity and dependency, convincing us that we are never enough unless we buy more, do more, or change more. It is a system designed to keep us chasing an illusion of worth while profiting from our dissatisfaction. Did that hit? I hope it did. Point number 1. Industries profit from insecurity. Cosmetics, supplements, and fashion thrive by convincing us we are flawed, then selling temporary fixes that keep us dependent. Point number 2. Media reinforces unrealistic ideals. Advertising and social platforms bombard us with curated images that distort reality, shaping how we measure ourselves against impossible standards. Point number 3. Exploitation strips authenticity. The body becomes a commodity, valued for appearance rather than vitality, wisdom, or lived experience. Point number 4. Exploitation creates cycles. The more we consume, the more we feel inadequate, fueling endless demand for products and services. For example, the beauty industry thrives on convincing people they are broken, offering endless products as solutions. Exploitation teaches us to see the body as broken. Sacred care reminds us that the body is already whole. So exploitation turns the body into profit, but sacred care reminds us that it was never meant to be a product. It was meant to be presence. Powerful. So that was section 1, the exploitation of the body. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this section. You can just let me know them in the comments. Okay? So we'll be diving into section 2 now, the meaning of sacred care. Sacred care is the practice of treating the body as a temple. It is not about perfection, it is about reverence. Sacred care means listening to the body, honoring its rhythms, and nurturing it with compassion. It shifts the focus from consumption to connection, reminding us that the body is not a commodity but a living vessel of spirit. In sacred care, every act of nourishment, rest, or movement becomes a ritual of gratitude. Point number 1. Sacred care emphasizes nourishment. Food becomes fuel and gratitude, not punishment or control. Meals are moments of connection, not battles with guilt. Point number 2. Sacred care honors rest. Sleep and recovery are seen as sacred rhythms, essential for healing and renewal, not wasted time. Point number three. Point number three. Sacred care reframes health. Health is harmony, balance the balance between body, mind, and spirit, not chasing external ideals or trends. Point number four. Sacred care celebrates individuality. Each body is unique, rejecting one-size-fits-all standards and embracing diversity as sacred. And then point number five. Sacred care integrates ritual. Movement, breath, and stillness become practices of reverence, not obligations. For example, choosing mindful movement or nourishing food as acts of gratitude rather than punishment. Sacred care teaches us that the body is not an object, it is a temple. So sacred care restores dignity to the body, shifting us from consumption to reverence, from exploitation to honor. Powerful. And that was section 2, the meaning of sacred care. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments as we'll be diving into section 3. Section 3, the psychology impact of exploitation. Exploitation of the body does not only affect the physical, it deeply impacts the mind. Consumer culture thrives on insecurity, creating cycles of comparison, shame, and anxiety. Sacred care challenges this by cultivating self-love and acceptance, breaking the psychological chains of exploitation. When we shift from consumption to reverence, we begin to heal not only the body, but the mind. Point number 1. Exploitation fuels anxiety. Constant comparison to unrealistic ideals erodes confidence, creating chronic dissatisfaction. Point number 2. Exploitation creates dependency. Self-worth becomes tied to external validation, likes, purchases, or approval, leaving us vulnerable to manipulation. Point number 3. Exploitation distorts identity. The body becomes a mask to be perfected rather than a vessel to be lived in. Point number 4. Sacred care restores balance. Practices like meditation, journaling, and mindfulness reconnect us to inherent worth. And then point number 5. Sacred care liberates identity. It teaches us that value is not purchased, it is lived, embodied, and expressed authentically. For example, social media filters distort self-image, while sacred care practices like meditation restore authenticity. Exploitation manipulates the mind, sacred care liberates it. So exploitation chains the mind to insecurity, but sacred care breaks those chains, freeing us with truth and acceptance. Powerful. And that was section 3, the psychological impact of exploitation. And I'd really love to hear your thoughts on section 3 as well. Okay, so let's dive into section 4. Reclaiming the body through sacred practice. Reclaiming the body means choosing sacred care over consumer exploitation. It is a conscious act of resistance, essentially saying no to commodification and yes to reverence. Sacred practice transforms daily habits into rituals of respect, reminding us that the body is not a product but a living temple. To reclaim the body is to reclaim sovereignty, to declare that our worth cannot be bought or sold. Point number 1. Reclaiming the body is resistance. Every act of sacred care rejects commodification and affirms sovereignty. Point number 2. Reclaiming the body is ritual. Nourishment, rest, and movement become sacred practices, not consumer-driven routines. Point number 3. Reclaiming the body is collective. It challenges cultural norms and inspires others to honor themselves, creating ripple effects of change. And then point number 4. Reclaiming the body is empowerment. It shifts focus from external validation to inner strength and authenticity. For example, choosing meditation, mindful eating, or holistic healing as acts of resistance against consumer culture. Reclaiming the body is reclaiming sovereignty. Sacred care is the revolution against exploitation. So reclaiming the body through sacred practice is resistance. It transforms exploitation into empowerment and care into freedom. Powerful, right? And that was section 4. So now let's dive into the golden nuggets of the video, our practical steps of implementation and how we can go ahead and integrate this insight into our daily lives and our daily doings. So without further ado, let's dive in. So step number 1, reject harmful ideals. Identify unrealistic standards promoted by consumer culture. Replace comparison with compassion and challenge narratives that equate worth with appearance. Step number 2, practice reverence daily. Treat nourishment, rest, and movement as sacred rituals. Eat with gratitude, sleep with intention, and move with joy. Point number 3, listen to the body. Pay attention to rhythms, signals, and needs. Honor hunger, fatigue, and emotion instead of forcing conformity to external molds. Point number 4, limit toxic exposure. Reduce engagement with media that commodifies the body. Create your environment to uplift rather than exploit. And then point number 5, cultivate gratitude. See the body as a gift, honoring its resilience, adaptability, and uniqueness. Gratitude shifts focus from flaws to blessings. And then step number 6, choose authenticity. Embrace practices that honor individuality, whether through holistic health, creative expression, or personal rituals. And then step number 7, build community. Share sacred care practices with others. Collective resistance creates support systems that challenge exploitations together. So by practicing these steps, we resist exploitation and reclaim the body as sacred. Consumer culture may commodify, but sacred care restores dignity, reminding us that the body is not for sale, it is for reverence. Powerful. And this is definitely something that I've been implementing in my life with my body. I've been really making sure that the food that I eat, is whole food. Most of the time, it's food that is home cooked and very healthy for me. And I've been doing this for about 4 to 5 years now. And I've definitely seen the improvement in my health, in my bank account as well, because it actually costs a lot cheaper to, just have home cooked meals instead of buying fast food whenever, you know. And to be honest with you, I've been seeing my physique also improve, and I hardly train. You know what I mean? I hardly go to the gym. I hardly work out. All I do is most of the time I'm just eating. You know what I mean? So this is definitely something that I can advocate for, as I'm a living example of that. Okay. So I'll leave you with this reflection. Will you let consumer culture exploit your body, or will you reclaim it through sacred care? Think about it, share it, and let's explore together how reverence transforms resistance. Okay? So I'd really love to hear your perspective. Drop your thoughts in the comments. How have you resisted consumer culture and embraced sacred care? Your commentary really does add to the conversation, and together I know we can build a deeper understanding of the body as sacred and what it means to us. Alright? So I'd just like to seize this moment to thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. If you enjoyed my insight, go ahead and leave me a like. And if you're interested in hearing more about what I have to share on this channel, then you can subscribe as well. And once again, I am inevitable, and this is the Calm Face Valiant Ambition podcast. Have a wonderful rest of your day.